So again, thanks very much for joining us for this first ever Vizzu community call. There are a couple of other people we're waiting for, but they can join later. We have the most esteemed participant, Gerbo, the company dog, or our dog god, as we like to call him, with us, and he gave us the green light to start the call. So today we're going to, so Christoph, our community and marketing manager, will talk a little bit about new things happening in the Vizzu community. Sebastian, a very distinguished member of the Vizzu community, will share his experience with using Vizzu and talking about it publicly in Chile. And then David, who's responsible for the development of all of our Python tools and also our CI and our backend, will share the latest and upcoming developments in our Python tools. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about some events that I had the chance to be part of, and also show you some nifty new Streamlit apps that we built, and we hope it will make it easier for you to start using our stuff. And obviously we'll have some rooms for questions if any of you have something to share or ask. So yeah, I guess without further ado, I think I'll just give the floor to you, Christoph, to talk a little bit about the latest developments in the Vizzu community.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. It's nice to see you to be here. Some words about my role in the Vizzu team. Actually, I mainly oversee our marketing activities, general marketing activities. I manage community platforms here and the basic contents. Our basic contents. And actually, at first, I would like to talk about how can we stay connected. And for this, I'm starting to share my screen. Right, you can see now. Yeah. Okay, thanks. How can we stay connected? Because we are accessible to many sites and platforms, and each has different purposes. So I wanted to talk about a little bit. For those who are diving into ipyvizzu and ipyvizzu story, besides the GitHub reports, our documentation sites are the perfect guide for this. And to get started, or even to dive deeper into the technical details, you can find these at ipyvizzu.com, or regarding the ipyvizzu story, you will find it at ipyvizzu-story.vizzuhq.com. And you can keep up with our latest developments on our blog, which is you can find it at blog.vizzuhq.com, where we share major releases or highlights regarding our tools. For daily updates, you can find us at, or you can follow us at Twitter or LinkedIn. But the heart of our community is still our Slack channel, which is now, probably hosting around 250 members. Here you can get quick support, generally within a few hours, share your thoughts, your feedback, or ask any questions from us or from the community. And as always, we are just an email away from you. Actually, you can write any detailed queries through email at hello@vizzuhq.com. And We are also exploring actually new ways to share knowledge about our tools. For example, on our YouTube channel, which will feature a series of tutorials, starting with the ipyvizzu Essentials, that has 8 quick episodes out already, aiming to help get started with ipyvizzu, understand the basics, and later to explore advanced features as well. And we are also planning to roll out tutorials for ipyvizzu story, ranging from simple basic data stories to complex ones with advanced styling or extra features. And yeah, moving on to a more exciting part. Let me showcase some great work that caught our attention lately, and these are made by our community members. For example, yeah, this first example from Jay Caswell, who was thinking about switching to alcohol-free beer for health reasons, but rather he made a quick comparison of drinks from sugar content to volume impact, and he also presented his findings with Vizzu. And we don't know what was the decision after this presentation. And another great example is Alexandre Petit, who's brought Oktoberfest data to life, actually, by animating a part of its economics over the years. Basically, the beer and chicken consumption data and the prices of beer and chicken, and also compared to the number of participants over the years.
Yeah, it might be a little early to jump to conclusions, but it seems clear that Vizzu goes well with alcohol, especially like based on these two stories. It seems
yeah.
It's not an official advice. Just I have to repeat it, for legal purposes.
Yeah. And next, yeah, it's a really exciting one. Street app from David, which is actually won first prize in an open data competition. David, I don't know if you are here, but huge congrats on your achievement. And yeah, you're not here. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say if you are here, that please correct me or complete what I am saying if you feel like it. So actually, his application focuses on promoting energy efficiency to an analysis in Castilla y León, and he used ipyvizzu for several graphs here, including this. Just a moment. Like this.
Yeah, but you have to wait sometimes a bit when you're sharing your screen while a Streamlit app is loading. It can be quite slow, especially on Google Meet. But here it is coming up.
But it's worth waiting. Yeah, so like this racing bar chart that shows the evolution of generated power in each province throughout the years. And also here another great column chart animation that shows actually the data how many wind turbines installed in each province. And yeah, and I also show you this page, this last page, but yeah, we're waiting for it. Here's another Vizzu. So this is the last page I show you right now, but this application definitely worth to explore more. We will share it with you. And here's here's this animation shows again power generated by power generated in each province transformed from a tree map to into a column chart. Yeah, and last but not least, of course, Sebastian's Streamlit app, who's also here with us in the Poland, which is a combination of Snowflake, Streamlit, and ipyvizzu, a complete gapminder emulator based on Professor Hans Rosling's work, showcasing showcasing the oh again. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. So the emulator showcasing the evolution of pivotal social and economic indicators throughout recent decades. And it's again an application that is definitely worth to check and give it a try. Yeah, and actually that's all from me. If you have any questions, I will happily answer them in the Q&A session. And now it's my pleasure to hand over the floor to our special guest, Sebastian Flores.
Thanks, Christoph, and thanks, Peter, and all the team for, first of all, for having me and creating this wonderful tool. So I also want to share my screen. I don't know if I have to ask for permission. Let me...
No, you should be able to do that. At least we hope. And yeah, it's great to have you with us.
It throws an error when trying to share the screen. Let me try again. Weird. There you go. So this presentation is already on my GitHub repo. So you can go and take a look right now or after the call. And this is a Jupyter notebook that I'll be running locally, but you shouldn't have trouble running it yourself. So the idea of using Jupyter Notebook is that you can have live code while presenting. So it's really something I've been looking forward to seeing technology, and now with Jupyter Notebook and Rise, I think that's a killer combination that can be used for having wonderful presentations to present to the audience. So a little about me. I work as a chief data officer in a company called UPlanner, where we provide technological solutions for higher education institutions. You can see the website and my LinkedIn, which is sort of my professional side. right there. And I've been collaborating with some organizations like Python Chile, Vizzu, Streamlit. You can find me around with the alias Sebastian Flores pretty much anywhere. Twitter, GitHub, LinkedIn, and pretty much everywhere. And I have a blog that I've been trying to relaunch. It's in Spanish, but we have wonderful translation tools. So if you want to take a look, it's right there. And some things I built with Vizzu and mostly Streamlit as well. Well, you already have the Gapminder application, which I'm quite proud of, and I think it's what started the collaboration between Streamlit and myself. I was contacted by Peter, and I really loved what the team was doing, and we sort of clicked on this on the first call with having sort of a vision of the type of visualization that was needed and the potential of the tool. I also did a Streamlit app about editable data frames. Well, it's the community call that I put the link as well. And very recently, I've been presenting Vizzu at some PyCon events here in Chile. So Pi Day a couple of months ago, and very recently a keynote at PyCon Chile. And it's wonderful to see the reaction of the people when you present a tool like Vizzu. So you get that wow effect that it's very audible in the event where you present things, you know, all these graphs that move and they're really attractive, but they also have meaning. You can convey meaning to your presentation. So that's a little bit of the collaboration I've been doing with Vizzu. And what I bring to the call is my personal Santa's wish list, the things I would love to see in Python, in Vizzu in the future. So the first one, the first wish I have for next year is to make every data scientist aware that there is this really cool tool called Vizzu. So they have better tools. They have a better set of tools where they can choose and do better visualizations, as I call them. And Vizzu should be a must-have, not a nice to know, not something that could be an optional. It should be something that data scientists are very aware and they can use when needed. The next one is to integrate ipyvizzu and ipyvizzu story, because I think they are intimately related. Sort of what you get as an animation or as a story is sort of the end tail of what you built before. It's just how you present or explore that that object that you've built, and of course a little bit more Pythonistics, way less parentheses if possible. So that would be my second wish. The third wish would be to have an export to GIF or export to movie option. I think that this would be a killer feature if this was implemented. I know it's really hard. I have tried myself to do it just by code and not recording the animation. But I think this would be a game changer, because people could start sharing, inserting these more easily into, you know, social networks and PowerPoint presentation and whatnot. So this would be really, really nice. And the fourth one that I think it's maybe the more important, or the one that it still hurts me from time to time, is to have better reporting tools when I break things, because I like to code and move things around, and sometimes the code breaks and it's very hard for me to debug it. So just to make that last point very clear, so I'm gonna use the standard Titanic example of on the website. And then I'm gonna do some animation. And if you see here, nothing happens. The plot is not there. And that's because one of the columns was mislabeled. And this always bites me because I'm mixing English, Spanish, and whatnot, all the Spanglish around. It's very hard for me to notice where I did a mistake. And in this case, it was just here, you know, just one letter, and it caused the graphic to break.
Mm-hmm.
And it passes silently. So this is something that could be very helpful, especially for people that are starting to know. Knowing where things break is very, very useful. So that would be a small presentation, but as Steve Jobs would say, there's a little bit more. So I have a dream. So what's what I would like to see? What's the interface that I would love to have? So I made a very, very fragile and thin wrapper around Vizzu and ipyvizzu and ipyvizzu story to work a little bit as I would like it to be. So I'm gonna, again, run the, get the data, classic, and then I'm gonna get the data. I'm using VC as Vizzu chart as the name that I'm using, and then I'm using this as the thin wrapper that I created locally, which is on GitHub if you want to explore a little bit the idea. So from Vizzu, you get chart and slide. You create the chart and you add the data. Okay, so this is very consistent and it has a bit of text to know where you're going. And then you create a slide and you add the slide. And you can see here that I'm trying to get as few parentheses as possible. And I'm going to add the slide. It helps me a little bit. And then I can show how I'm going, and it works. And as you can see, the show is just the animation. I can add some more slides. And it's also useful to know which are the how many slides do you have on your stack on your animation, because if I run this cell twice, I'm gonna have more slides or graphs that I need. I can show it again. I can rerun it with different properties. And for instance, I think it's helpful to have the width and sort of the export options of the chart when you want to show it, because I can do all this and export to HTML or whatnot without having to visualize it first. Then let's put an error. So I'm having an error here, and I'm having count, and then again sex with less than, not in capitals, and it throws an error. It says that sex is not in the data columns, because you know which are the names of the data columns. You can check that. So if you do that, should work. And X is not in the column, so you can do something else. And the nice thing is that this is not added to the stack of slides, so it's still working. It has not broken. And again, you could show this, or you could interact with this. It's sort of the end of the of what you want to see. You have the same object, but you're just inspecting it from different sides. And of course, you can explore it to HTML as just like a string, or you can export it to a file. And I would love to have it as a GIF, but this is again very hard, so it's not implemented. But that's my dream. So that's how I would love to have this library working. So you could have everything defined with less parentheses, and where you could explore what to do based on what you need on the precise moment. So that would be a brief review of some ideas for Vizzu.
For the Christmas wish list.
Yeah.
I mean, I can absolutely reassure that you've been a very good boy this year. I mean, so I cannot promise as of now, like when we would have something exactly like this, but all of your suggestions make a ton of sense. And yeah, thanks a lot for creating this example and for inspiring us to improve what we have. And so with that said, I would like to give the floor to David, who would actually be the one implementing such advancements and changes. And I mean, we have a ton of things that we already improved in the recent times, and we have some others planned. But obviously, if you have something to add on what we just saw from Sebastian, David, please just let us know what you think about it. And yeah, I mean, these are always easier to make an example with than rather to implement it in like a fully fledged library. But it's very inspirational. I can tell you that. But you know, I'm not the one who would implement it for real. David, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hi everyone. I am David, and I'm primarily responsible for CI/CD environments of our products and for developing our Python tools. I'm going to talk a little about the developments of the past period and as well as the plans for the near future, mainly with a Python focus. So I would like to share my screen. Sorry. Okay. So in summer, we released version 0.8 of the Vizzu library, and we made a lot of bug fixes in there, and we introduced aggregation methods. So with this, as you can see, you can easily show complex calculations. And in this series, we also added new configuration and style parameters. For example, the step channel configuration parameter enables you to set custom intervals for interlacing. And you can change the color of the plot area with the area color style parameter. In August, in version 0.16 of ipyvizzu, we integrated the new library. And beside on that, we added Spark data frame support and NumPy array support to ipyvizzu data class. In September, in version 0.8 of ipyvizzu story, we also integrated the new Vizzu library and added the aspect ratio parameter to the set size method. And in October, we released the new version of ipyvizzu story, where we added the slider function. So from now, you can easily control the animation between the slides. Later in November, we created a Streamlit app, Vizzu Builder, with which we want to make it easier to use ipyvizzu and ipyvizzu story. But Peter will be talk more details about this later. Also in November, we released a new version of the Vizzu library, 0.9. And in the near future, we are going to adopt it in our Python tools. In addition, a lot of bug fix. The main features of this release will be a plugin interface for the library and new configuration parameters called subtitle and caption for the chart. And we introduce unit parameter for data series. So as you can see, I set songs as a unit to popularity.
That's cool.
And that's all. So these were and will be our developments nowadays.
Cool. Do you think if there's a way to implement what Sebastian shared with us, like as part of a plugin or something, or?
Of course, I think that it's a bigger part, a bigger plan. So um, in the near future, we have smaller updates.
Yeah, sure. And then, I mean, I also know, like, we started working on a new Python interface. We don't know when it's going to finish, but actually the ability to have better error reporting. So, for example, with what you just showed, Sebastian, when there's a mistype in the data series name and things like that, should be included in there. It's just that, as always, like, we're still an early stage startup, and we have to be mindful of what we focus on our energies on. But I love the first item of your wish list, which is to make it for every data scientist a must-have to use ipyvizzu and ipyvizzu story to be able to tell better data stories. And yeah, thanks, David, for the quick wrap up. I think it was really cool to see how many things improved. And you mentioned the Builder app, and basically, so I've been teaching the use of ipyvizzu to data scientists for some time now, and without me being a data scientist or a Python engineer or anybody technical, but I kind of know how this thing works, and I always kept an open ear to what people say, what their pain is about learning how our tools work, and when we started working together with Streamlit, and we had a really great integration of the two tools via a bidirectional component that Zachary Blackwood, senior data engineer from Streamlit, created. So after a while, we got this idea with David that we could basically turn the whole logic upside down. So up until now, if you wanted to build a Vizzu data story, an ipyvizzu story, or an ipyvizzu like a set of charts that you run in your notebook, you always had to first understand this basic like abstract logic of ipyvizzu, and as you might know, we have a generic logic towards data visualization. We have these channels such as the axis and the color channel and the label channel that you can attach or data series to, or take off some, and other parameters, and basically what this generic data visualization engine provides in the core of ipyvizzu is that it animates between these states. But still, in order for you to use it, you had to understand this abstract logic, and we figured that yeah, people can be, it can be quite a challenge for people. And initially, we came up with the concept of presets that you can also find on the ipyvizzu website, where you basically, via your code, determine what kind of chart you want to build, and you just fill in the blanks, sort of. So that resembles a little bit more the logic of other data visualization tools that Python developers and data scientists use. But then with the use of Streamlit came another idea, and that's how we built this Builder app that I'm going to just show you how it works. So I actually wanted to share, let me know if you can see my screen already. Just seems to come up. Is there, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. So this is called the Vizzu Builder. You can find it at vizzu-builder.streamlit.app. And the way it works, you can upload your CSV file, or you can use the sample data that we already prepped for you. And as step 2, you can check if every data series, every column is categorized the way you want it to be categorized. So there are categories and values, and it can happen that you have a column that only contains numbers. So by default, we would think it's a value, but you can just set it as a category so that the visualization come up properly. You also have the opportunity to add some filters, but more importantly, you can add some, so select some categories from your data frame, like for example, year and quarter. You can select up to 2 now, and the value, let's say items sold, and the aggregation logic that David just mentioned to you. So whether you want the sum, the min, the max, or the mean of that value. And then, yeah, you can also put it up on label, any of the series that you added on the chart. And you can just click on create chart and wait for quite a long time. The reason for that is that there are plenty of charts being generated here, and you might even have these yellow error messages, but you don't have to take care of those. And slow and steady, but a lot of ipyvizzu charts will appear on the screen. Basically, all or most of the chart types that we think would make sense for you to build using these two categories and the one value, the item sold. And as you can see, we have a ton of these in there. And beneath every chart here, you have the opportunity to take a look at the code. So basically, you can copy and paste this code to your notebook or to your own Streamlit app or to any, like your Visual Studio Code or whatever. You can even use this button here. And the only thing you need to change is the reference to your data source, and then it should be you should be able to create the same chart just like as it looks right here. The code is quite verbose because we added all the styling bits and pieces and all the channels that you don't use. So even the default values are explicitly set here. It's for you to be able to reproduce this super easily. And you can also add these charts to a story. So you can add any number of charts. Again, something is running in the background, and it might take like maybe even 5 seconds for the story to be built. But basically, right beneath all these charts that we created for you, you'll get a data story. The focus is also, so it's always on the last slide that you just added, but you can go back very simply to the initial one. And as you can see, it contains all these slides that I added to it. And yeah, here we already have this seeker via which you can very smoothly control the animation and see which part went where. And the filtering bit that, oh yeah, so you can also delete the last slide if you want to build a different story. You can download your story as an HTML file that you can just send to anyone as an attachment of an email or embed on your website. Or you can also just see the code for the whole story. As you can see, every slide is being added here one by one. And obviously you can just you know, put it into a Kaggle notebook, a Deep Note notebook, or just a vanilla Jupyter notebook and fiddle with the styling or rearrange the slides or add whatever transitions you might want to add. And the use of filtering is also pretty straightforward. You can do it only by clicking around. So you have the chance to pick any of the data series that's in your data frame or in your data set. And so, for example, I'm just removing the year 2022, and I will also switch from items sold to profit. And then I'm going to just quickly update all the charts. And as you can see, the columns here or the markers representing the year 2022 will vanish. Keep in mind that, again, a lot of different transitions are happening at the same time. And yeah, it was removed from the label, the profit, or like it was a different data series there. But basically, we end up having all these charts being updated. And then I can just go back and add, for example, the same chart type to the story. And this way, I would have a really nice transition when you know, I keep the chart type but change, like remove a year and change the value being shown, and then you know, I have it in the story. So basically, we did this to help you and help everyone who starts learning Vizzu just learn it in a more intuitive fashion by you know, generating all the different types of charts, adding it to the story, and then you know, checking out the code and adjusting it and making changes as you will. So that's one thing you can now do with this thing. Keep in mind that if you reload the page, for example, then everything you build it will get lost. It's also good on the data security side that anything you upload here we won't get to either us or to Streamlit, so it's very secure to use this. But you can also, obviously, this is all available in a Streamlit repository, so you can run this whole thing locally if you're afraid that any of your data leaves your computer or anything like that. The other thing I wanted to show you, there are two, is a Streamlit app called intro-to-vizzu-in. So intro to Vizzu in Streamlit.app. where we collected a couple of nice examples how this bidirectional component that Zachary built could be put to good use. Actually, we obviously use the same thing to build the Streamlit app, but so you can actually just use these interactive widgets by Streamlit. So for example, in this case, just a checkbox that transforms the chart, transposes it actually, or a slider in this case, which shows revenue data for specific years and obviously the changes done in an animated fashion. Because of the bidirectionality, you can actually use clicking as an interaction. So here it's again the music data. You click on one column and then you drill down and see the content side by side. You can again find it in if you look for the Streamlit Vizzu on GitHub, but we are going to share it in the YouTube video show notes and also in the chat window. The link to the repository. You can find the code. Like for example, this one, it's like 50 lines of code. So it's really easy to do something like this. We also have the editable data frame examples that Sebastian created. So here, basically, you have a data frame that's shown to the user, and you can add new elements and those will be shown, or at least should be shown to the user. I might did something that that ran to an error, but usually it's really so there aren't many issues with it. Let me quickly change this to the light because I like it better that way. Yep. So yeah, what you can do here is, for example, have another yeah. What are these? Sorry, I keep forgetting. Yeah, Pokemons to appear, and you can switch between different chart types. And there's a more advanced version of it where you can add new columns to the data frame and yeah, build different charts again in a form-like setup. And I think these are great. So thanks again, Sebastian, for building those. And we have another option which is called export to story. Here's like a more complex data frame, like a more complex story here, or even a dashboard where we have 3 charts, and the user can just fiddle with the settings, like extend the time frame, and all the charts get updated, or yeah, do a lot of different transitions, or like see the data for themselves in many different settings. And then in the background, actually, there's a data story being created that the user can just download as an HTML file. And again, if you build such a thing on your computer and then share it with your coworkers, they would be able to, without looking at any or writing any Python code, build an animated data story like this one and send it to anyone if they find something interesting in there, which we think is pretty cool. And we hope to see more examples of these explorers to story things or dashboards. And if you need any help building your first one, I would suggest you to, join our Slack and let us know, and we'll be there to help. But also, for example, there were a couple of events that I had the chance to participate on. For example, PyData New York, and they released the recording of our 1-hour workshop that we did together with Zachary Blackwood about using Vizzu and Streamlit, and it's all out on YouTube, so you can get you can have the full like onboarding intro session if you have an hour. And we have a ton of examples that you can reach. We share the links for those in the video and in the show notes, I guess, as well. And lastly, there were other events we had the chance to participate, like PyData Global or Austin Python Meetup, EuroPython in July, and Python MEA, and we were so glad to have this interest about what we did in the PyData community. And also, we are proud to say that we are now an officially affiliated project at NumFocus, which is also a recent development. Which we are very, very proud of, obviously, given they are the most like well-known and best non-profit, international non-profit of the PyData community. So this last thing I wanted to show you, I just built this over the weekend, and it's actually right now using the JavaScript library, but we obviously will at some point in time will have something similar for Python. So it's a scrollytelling piece, meaning that the animations are the transitions are run by as the user is scrolling through the story, and you know it's an easy like it's quite a low-hanging fruit for us or for anyone with some knowledge of JavaScript now to build these sort of cool animated self-explanatory scrolly stories using our tool, and we obviously hope to see more of these as well. So let me once again check my notes, but yeah, those were the things that I wanted to share with you. And yeah, one more event which we were really proud of and which we strongly suggest to check out, especially for Spanish speakers, is PyCon Chile, where Sebastian did a talk about ipyvizzu and ipyvizzu story, and where he actually wowed the crowd with the transition of two colored bars into the PyCon Chile logo using ipyvizzu, which is super cool. So congrats on that, Sebastian. And yeah, I guess now's the time to give the floor to you, dear community members, and so we'd love to hear you out. If you have any questions or if you have any comments on anything that we shared, it would be great if you could turn on your mic and camera and let us know what you think, or if you have any questions. Okay, so I don't see too many hands raised. And yeah, I also like, it seems to me that, yeah, just a sec. So David Aspiricio Sanz has actually arrived to the call. He's the one who built the energy efficiency Streamlit app that he won a gold medal with. So now that he's here, we can actually, you know, give him a round of applause for his achievement. So congrats on that, David, and keep up the good work. Yeah. And so I think if there are no questions from anyone, then we can wrap it up. And thanks everyone for joining us. And if you're seeing the recording of this, also thank you very much for watching. We prepared a super sweet, very short feedback form. It contains 2 questions, so it shouldn't take more than 20 seconds of your time, maybe even less. And if you have the time to just, you know, fill it out and let us know what you thought about this first ever community call of Vizzu, we'd love to hear you out. It looks, so Balazs is just telling me that it's not open now, is it? It should be working. Let me double check, okay?
It tells me I don't have permission to open.
Yeah. The Balazs is telling me the same. Maybe it's just, yeah, because I created it with the my ipyvizzu, my Vizzu email. You should be able to fill it right now. No, still not. Or
yes, it works now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's just a Google Forms thing. I by default it's it only allows people from the Vizzu organization, and sadly, not all of you are members of Vizzu by now, but this can change in the future. Cool. So thanks again for your time. Sebastian, if you have anything else to add, or David, Christoph, now might be the best time to do that.
No, I was really surprised by the last example you showed, the HTML plus the animation on Vizzu. That blew my mind. So congrats on that. I'll surely take a look at that after the call.
Yeah, thanks. I'm just trying to find the right place to upload it, but I can send it. I'll send you the HTML file in an email. I would call it a tech demo at this point, but it will be easy for you to figure out the structure. So
Awesome.
it's like this. I mean, I could build something with it, right? So it shouldn't be too complicated then. Okay, thanks again, everyone. Have a nice rest of your day. Thanks very much for joining us. Sebastian, David, congrats on your achievements, and we hope to see more of those for our next community call. If you have anything you build and you want to share it publicly, we'd be happy to promote that on our channels and have you in our next community call showcasing it to everybody else. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.